Thank God for the body cams. I've been saying this for so long that we need that objective third eye to be able to show what's really happening in these streets with police officers. But like Jason said, I mean, this is a huge problem, because we had a camera actually have footage of this officer beating this man, and it doesn't deter that kind of behavior at all.
Sure, Michael, it wasn't even just the video of him beating him. The video also showed the cop planting the drugs in his car.
Right, it did, Roland. And my concern with this officer is I hope that prosecutors will go back into his past and look at other individuals that he has arrested to see if he's had similar behavior in the past. That's what bothers me. There may be individuals, we don't know how many numbers, that may still be in jail because of this officer, and he may have planted materials on them. So I'm really concerned about that.
But that's also an issue. We don't need to look into an officer's past after he's been convicted or after he's done something.
But there's no way to know with certainty until the person is convicted.
Well, things happen internally, and that's the problem. Things aren't being relayed to the public, or firings aren't happening, so these officers are now being hired in other agencies.
Well, precisely, and in fact, in this case here, not only was this officer fired, the police chief also was forced to resign as a result of what took place. Let's go to Chicago, folks, where a year ago, Chicago teenager Laquan McDonald, 16 years old, was stopped by police, and then he was shot 16 times. Folks in that city have been protesting, were stunned by this, and many of them called for the release of the dash cam video. Well, the Chicago Police Department and the city, they fought for a long time for this video not to be released. The community said enough is enough. The tape needs to come out. Yesterday, a judge in Chicago ordered the tape release. Initially, Chicago said they were going to appeal the case. Then all of a sudden, they changed their mind, and they said they will comply, and the video will be released by November 25th.
Look, it seems to me that this is a good idea. Now, I'm always worried, and I'm not a lawyer. You'll be able to do that. I'm not a lawyer. But, you know, it seems to me that sometimes you have the situation where, you know, in order to appease the public, you do need to release this information. It is public. It is a public employee's behavior. But on the other hand, it seems to me like this would taint the jury pool. And I don't know if I would want a jury of people who have either already seen this tape or, heaven forbid, somebody in Chicago who hadn't seen the tape. So I always get concerned a little bit with some of these releases and how it may affect the ability to have a fair trial later on.
But here's the problem, though. The city of Chicago has fought this for a year.
Right.
No action has been taken against this police officer. Same thing, you look at the Tamir Rice case. And so by releasing the video, Yodit, I think what this does is it actually puts pressure on the Chicago prosecutor, the DA, to do something. In fact, in the statement from Mayor Rahm Emanuel, he initially tried to say that no, there are ongoing investigations, the tape should not be released, but he changed his tune yesterday, Ben saying it is clear. He says it is clear based upon the video and what this cop did was wrong, and he should be prosecuted. It's amazing how the tune of the mayor changed after the judge released the video.
We can't talk about trying to remedy the relationship between law enforcement and the community if we can't be transparent. The public has a right to know what is happening in their own city, and so they have a right to full disclosure of that information. Now, this judge made the right call. Unless the state or the prosecutors can show that this record is exempt from full disclosure by clear and convincing evidence, then the public has a right to know what is happening in the streets. And let's not forget, Sam DuBose, that video came out before anything happened.
Right.
So there have been other cases where videos have been released to the public, and we've seen it. And Eric Garner, we saw that video, and that didn't taint the grand jury from not indicting.
Joining us right now via Skype from Chicago's Black Youth Project 100 National Director Charlene Carruthers, who was at the courthouse. And Charlene, earlier the city paid a $5 million settlement to the McDonald family. Look, you don't pay those kind of settlements unless you know there was some wrongdoing here. And what do you make of Chicago fighting very hard not to have this video released? And finally, a judge said enough is enough. It must come out November 25th.
So the Chicago Police Department is, in my opinion, one of the most corrupt police departments in the United States of America. What we know is that time after time, they failed to discipline officers who we know have taken the lives of Black people, like Detective Dante Servin, who killed Rekia Boyd. And so there's no level of surprise that the Chicago Police Department wanted to cover up the video. What I think is also important is that Laquan McDonald's family is distraught. They've been taken through the ringer by the Chicago Police Department and the violence against their son. And his mother has said over and over again that she doesn't want to see the video. And I'm actually more concerned about her than I am concerned about anybody else's reaction.
What about the fact that, first of all, it was a freelance journalist who put in a Freedom of Information request to have this released? That's what actually forced this court ruling. And what do you make of the change in tune of Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who was saying one thing before the judge's order, but then all of a sudden he basically implies that this officer clearly did something wrong?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the mayor's apparent change of mind is reflective of the work that many community organizations and leaders have been doing over the past year to call him, his administration, and also the Chicago Police Department to the carpet for their systemic abuse of power. And frankly, we're talking about a mayor who approved a budget where the Chicago Police Department takes up about 40% of our overall city budget. And so his gesture to say that seemingly is reflective of what we believe should be done, I'm not confident that that's reflective of a broader change.
All right then, Charlene Carruthers, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much.